Suzan DelBene's got one of the toughest districts in Congress. There are so many diverse interests throughout the district, from farmers to software engineers to crab fishermen to everything in between. And I think that Suzan's able to really represent them across the spectrum.
The first time I met with Suzan, I really pointed out there are a couple of things that are very important to me as a dairy farmer. One of them was the Farm Bill. I mean, it made me really proud that she was the representative of our district. She did not act like a first-term representative. She acted like a seasoned veteran.
One of the notable places that I really got to know her was when unfortunately, our bridge went down. And she was in Washington, D.C. She heard about this. She hops a plane and she's here. She was literally here at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. Suzan showed that she was one of these people that could listen.
I've reached out to local legislators as well when the shutdown happened. And Suzan's office is the only one that responded to us, to be honest with you. That letter was followed up by a phone call from her office, and that phone call was quickly followed up by a visit. So it wasn't just words, there was actions behind that.
Immigration reform is an extremely personal issue to me. Suzan reached out to me, reached out to my brother and I when we were there. Right off the bat, Suzan was very welcoming, was very open to my story.
I think Washington State, and in particular Washington State women, are so lucky to have Suzan fighting for us in Congress, because women's healthcare decisions should be made between the woman and her physician, period. So it's a very important time to have Suzan in Congress.
The fishermen that I represent, they're small businesses. Most of them are family-run operations, and with the government shutdown, they couldn't get the paperwork that they needed to go fish. They have a limited window to catch that crab and to get it to market in time. And Suzan was the only member of the House of Representatives that spoke specifically to our issue on the House floor. Suzan took the time to educate other members of Congress, and she took the time to follow up with me several months later. The first thing out of Suzan's mouth was, "Did you get the crab caught? Did you get it to Japan in time?" And we did.
The fact that student loans could have doubled to 6.8% was really stressful. By Suzan DelBene fighting for this and not letting the interest rate double made me very proud that she's my congresswoman.
I think Suzan's earned a second term. I think she's just a very pragmatic, sensible, accessible person.
Suzan is a sorely needed voice of reason in Washington.
She truly cares about the people in her district and the small businesses.
I do believe that Suzan's going to be on the side that's fighting for me.
If there were more Suzan DelBenes in Congress, I think the country would be much better off.
Who's a friend of Skagit County? Suzan DelBene, of course.